Hey everyone, so a couple weeks ago Hansshow sent over this slick new screen tilt. Check it out, check it out. Not only does this one tilt left and right, it also tilts up and down. All right, this is like what I've been waiting for. Since these came out, maybe, I don't know, it's been a year or two, I've wanted one, but I kept thinking, with just the left and right tilt, is that going to be enough? Is it good enough? I don't know. I was hoping they would come out with something better. Meanwhile, I was just kind of dealing with the screen, in its usual spot, which, for me is really not that bad. Now that it came out with this extra tilt, though, up and down, left and right, I'm really excited. So not only does this latest version, which is like version 3 or something, come with this, dual tilting action, it also comes with a really nice factory looking cover in the back. A lot of the other ones came with some kind of a fabric or something like that. This looks way better. Okay, another huge benefit of this, 15% off. Discount code, all right? This thing is not expensive at all. Okay, they did send me this for free, all right? I'm being honest, but I will also give you my honest review. All right, so let's get on with the review of maybe the greatest product ever made, ever. All right, so if you look below the video, I'll chapter everything out as usual. First, I'll review the screen after owning it for a couple weeks, the tilt features, stability, then I get into comparison with the original screen location. How much did it move the screen? Higher, lower, closer, left, right, any kind of movement like that, compare it to the original location. This may not be a good thing. Does it interfere with my long legs, all right? Does it hit my knee or anything else? Then I'll do an unboxing and finally show you how to install it. Oh, and install's not that bad, maybe half an hour to an hour, and this thing is not that much money, okay? Especially after using my discount code. Okay, in my opinion, this thing should have come with the car, all right? Having this tilt is just, so far, I'm really enjoying it. It's fantastic. And after having it for a couple weeks, I kind of can't imagine not having it at this point. Some things that makes this thing really great, all right? First off, I never have to worry about any kind of sun reflecting off of this thing and not being able to see it because I can just make some adjustments, and tilt it. Now look, I've got some pretty long arms. I didn't really have much of a problem reaching the screen when it was factory, but sometimes I had to kind of stretch. I've got the seat up a little bit more than I normally would, but normally I would have to stretch just a little bit to reach this edge of the screen, all right? Not too bad, but now, there's just no issue at all. I can reach the screen completely. Some other things that are nice. I pretty much have it right here, like 99% of the time, okay? It makes it easier on the eyes. So if you've got a screen that's like this, or anything that's like this, your eyes, when you look across something like this, they have to focus here, and then they constantly are changing focus as you go back and forth or up and down. Well, when you keep something on the same plane as your eyes, the focusing is not as great. The change in focus isn't as great. So it's just kind of easier. It just kind of makes sense. When you're reading something, you don't hold it off over here. You put it right in front of your face. This is where you want to see it. So now this is what you get to do. I love it. Okay, this thing is pretty solid. There's no vibrations or anything. So just like the factory screen doesn't jostle around at all, there's no vibrations. Same thing with this. In the install, I'll show you how to adjust it so you can make this easier to turn or more hard. But as I say in the install, you don't want to make it too hard to slide or move around, because then you're kind of torquing on the screen. That's not going to be good for it. But I show you how to make those kind of adjustments. So while for the most part it's going to be here, I'm in the car most of the time driving by myself, but occasionally I've got a passenger, my son, whoever, and they're going to want to use the screen. Okay, now they don't have to stretch way over, and this way they've kind of got their own thing going on here. It's nice. It's just really nice. Or you're at a charger, you're waiting. Sometimes, you have to get out of the car. There's a passenger waiting in here. Now they get to do what they want. They get to play their games or whatever, and it just makes things a lot easier. Okay, so any other issues might be clearance with the knee, all right? The screen did move a little bit. I've got pretty long legs. I'm about 6'2". My legs are a little bit long, and I'll tell you, I don't have any issues. You know, I would have to move, if I were to move the seat way up, you know, put the screens all the way down right now, you know, it's hard to create an issue there. And then especially if you tilt it back like this, which typically I would do, there's really no clearance issues here at all. Hey, if you're liking anything here, please like and subscribe. So before I add the rotation to the screen, I want to make sure I know what my view is, or show everybody what my view is currently. And this is about it. I've obviously got this extra center screen here. I've got the yoke steering wheel. And as you can see, it's, you know, I'm already cut off slightly. I mean, honestly, I'm really seeing like this right now. Okay, from where I normally sit, it's about the same. I can see more of the screen now that it's out further. When it was further back, it was more behind the steering wheel here. So I think it's actually a better view. Now when you tilt it, you know, again, things start getting more hidden. Just a slight little move over, you could see you're just kind of missing the drive car there. Okay, so right now from this point, about 7 inches, and it's sticking out from this dash point here, 3 inches. Let me take a measurement from here too. That's about 10 inches. Okay, remember those numbers. Okay, everything's mounted. It's definitely further out. Let me measure that. 3 3/4. So it brought it out about 3/4 of an inch. Yeah, it's a good inch lower. Some other clearance items. This is hitting back here. Doesn't go up as far. I don't think that matters. This, because it's lower, there's, you know, a little bit less access to this. But again, I stopped even using this. Even though I put a charging pad in there, I stopped using it. You can hear the lid. Yeah. Only when you have it down all the way and you try to rotate it, you lose a little bit of rotation when you have the lid up. Is it a deal breaker? Nah, not for me, definitely. Like I said, I don't even use this thing anymore, so. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh yeah. Oh, nice. Boy, they're getting better and better with these boxes, you know? All right, installation instructions. We'll see how good these are. Oh, bracket covering. That's a nice finish. Wow. It's quite an Allen wrench there. Dang. No wonder this thing was so heavy. Boy, that took a lot of weight off. Okay. Oh, the little vent. I think there's a temperature sensor or something back there. All right. See how this looks. That looks pretty good. There's a slight little scratch here. I doubt any of that's going to be noticeable. Looks good. Oh, that sucker's packed in there tight. This is kind of the big part of the bracket here. Wow, I can't even loosen that thing. Looks like they give you everything you need here. Tiny little screwdriver, giant Allen, slightly smaller Allen, pry bar. All right, let's get to it. So one of the biggest concerns I always hear is, will this void my warranty? Well, no. Simply using an aftermarket part does not void your warranty. The Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act makes it illegal for companies to void your warranty or deny coverage under the warranty simply because you used an aftermarket part. Your warranty claim cannot be automatically denied or warranty voided just because you added an aftermarket part. Still, if it turns out that that aftermarket part was itself defective or caused damage to another part that is covered under the warranty, they may decide that they're going to deny coverage for that part and charge you for any repairs. You know, also the FTC says the manufacturer or dealer must show that the aftermarket part caused the need for repairs before denying warranty coverage. Okay, so this is the latest edition of the swivel mount. If you got this box, you will need to follow this video and this video only. It's the only one that's going to show you how to install it properly, okay? The other ones are out of date already. Follow this video, okay? First thing is to put this into cleaning mode. So display, screen clean. All right, let's get underneath here and pop this panel off. All right, just kind of push it in there is actually the best way to do it. Then pry it. All right, so this is a temperature sensor, and we can just unplug that for now. Next is to get these two 10mm bolts out. You can use this wrench that they provide. However, decided to try it out, and you know, there's these two plastic tabs in the way, which makes me a little bit nervous, because if this wrench slips, it's going to jam into this clip and potentially break it. And these wrenches are not the highest quality, so there's not like a super tight fit. So while it could, yeah, it's a little bit loose. The wrench is, you know, it's just not a high quality wrench. So while I'm sure it could be used, could be done, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to get some better tools out here. And you notice I put a towel down here now also. Okay, not so bad. Okay, after those two bolts are removed down there, it's just a matter now of pulling the screen out, and you kind of rock it back and forth, but you got to be careful because it is still attached back there with another cable, so you don't want to jerk the screen off and put that cable under any kind of stress. Like that. Don't do that. Right, and then this is why I put this towel down here, is because you've got to set the screen down on something preferably soft. And down here, these two screws here, which are the Torx screws. So let's get the Torx. Okay, try not to lose these screws. This is like a little safety clip thing. You got to push on that, separate it, kind of pull it up. All right, that's not bad. Push on this while I separated it and then just pulled it up. So let's get this out of the way. Okay, now time to unplug it. So there is a little tab in there to press. So this may be the most difficult part, because you got to push that tab in at the same time, pull it out, and it doesn't want to come out that easy. That sucker does not want to come out easy at all. Ah, got it. Then we just get rid of this guy, because we are replacing it. Now we can put our new swivel mount in. It goes back in this location using the original bolts. Okay, I'm going to move this out of the way a little bit, I think. All right, in trying to move this tilt in order to get at these screws a little bit better, these bolts a little bit better, I realized that this is going to be way too tight for the screen. You know, you don't want it super loose, but at the same time, I don't want to have to torque on the screen to get it to move, and that is way too tight. So you get your monster new Allen wrench in here, the one tool that you definitely are going to be using from these guys. Okay, to loosen this, you actually go that way. little bit of a turn there. See how it goes. Okay. This feels better, but still too tight. I'll give it another little turn. I'm gonna give it a little bit more. Okay, that feels pretty good. And the reason you want to do this now is because we're going to be putting the plastic piece on next. You won't have access to this Allen bolt. I mean, you'd have to take a few parts off just to get to it, but this feels pretty good. It's still pretty stiff, but should be real easy to move with the screen without putting too much pressure on the screen. Okay, next we put this plastic cover on, and you can see the tabs on the top, tabs on the bottom. All these have to be clipped in. It's a little bit of a puzzle getting that on there, but not too bad. So I'm going to push it down there, and then this is why they supply this piece here. If I get this on the camera, see that gap? That happens on some cars. I've got a 2018 and I've got the gap. So I'm going to take it out and put this in there, and it should cover that gap. Okay, so this little gap fixer is a bit of a pain. So looks like it just sets right down there, and you got to get it down there kind of as far as possible. Get it lined up. Get the top going first to get it over that spacer, and then make sure you got the bottom of the these three brackets in there. Now you can see it's going to be a challenge to get this underneath there without damaging the dash. Now luckily this is kind of behind the screen, and actually I do have some carbon fiber I plan on doing here, so if I do any real damage I can just kind of cover it up. But I will be using the supplied pry bar to hopefully move this out of the way as much as possible, so I'm not damaging my dash. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of like I'm questioning whether I want to put this thing on there, because also when you pry this, you leave little pry marks on the dash too. So I don't know. I'm gonna try and put this on just to kind of do it, just to see what happens. Alright, that one's in, but yeah, you can see it's a little bit of an indentation there now. That one going. And okay. Gotta make sure you get this bottom lined up to be able to push that down. Okay, and now I don't know. I'm still seeing a gap there. I mean, is it really any better with that piece of plastic in there? I'm gonna say no, it's not. Let's see if I can push it up from. There we go. So you really got to kind of mess with this thing. You really got to kind of mess and push these tabs in, push this up from the underside. Honestly, I'm not sure I even needed that little plastic piece. And again, this is, you know, this is behind the screen. So who and what, when are you actually going to be looking at that? Pretty much never. Okay, done. All right, let's get back to the temperature sensor. I'm going to take this off from here. T15. And these are different for the different cars. So whether you have a Model Y, Model 3, and what year it is, again, mine's a 2018. And you can see this just has a hole in it. Whereas the newer models have a little fan built into this, and this is vented. And this comes off a little bit differently for those cars. You have to like push something in and give it a little twist. But yeah, that comes off. Got this hole here, so we take the one with just the one hole and not all the vents. You know what's interesting here is, see these washers? You don't see this in a car manufacturer. You know, they just use smaller screws. Here they use these size screws, but they had to use washers because it would have gone into the that factory piece too far. I do like these screws, the factory ones, better than these, in that, you know, this is made to kind of screw into plastic easier. So for now, I'm just going to plug this back in and set it aside. All right, next we get the screen on. First, feed the wire through here, and then we have to reconnect this guy. Okay, that clipped in there nicely. Don't forget your little safety clip. Alright, that clipped in there nicely. It's going to go underneath, so that doesn't have to feed through. So then this goes on here. Then we reuse our little torque screws. Alright, next we slide the screen back on. Get the right angle, and it goes back in. Okay, it should just sit there, and so you realize my screen came back on, but it's not responsive, so we'll just do a soft reset and we'll be able to fix that. But if yours comes back on and it's touchable, just put it back into cleaning mode. So now, using these Allen bolts that they gave us, and try to line this up. Alright, so you can see the angle that this thing is on. It's not going to go straight in. The mount is on a, you know, a bigger angle than you think. So if you see the Allen wrench here, you see how it goes in. I kept trying to put it in more like this, and yeah, mistake. Don't cross thread it. Alright, last thing we do is get this temperature sensor back in there. And I broke it. Yeah, great. It's probably a better way to pop that in there, but don't do it that way. And that's it, you're done. Screen is mounted. Enjoy, and like and subscribe.